I read 14 books this month. If that means I only need to read 16 books next month to make it to 100 books read before the end of the year, do I think I'm better than you? Yes, I do. Absolutely. Hi friends, welcome back to Shelby and the Book Club. I am Shelby Monet, and in today's video we're going to do my July reading wrap up. Everything will be linked down below in the underneath bar. We will go over my stats. All the pictures that you see on the screen of my stats are from Storygraph. That is the only app that I use to track my reading. I do not use Goodreads anymore. Sorry, not sorry. But yeah, everything will be linked down below in the underneath bar. It is called the underneath bar because it is underneath the video. Get it? Got it? Good. And if you like to hear it, here it go. Before we get started, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I know you love watching these videos. I know you do. You might as well just join the family and hit subscribe. Cousin, what you waiting for? Let's get into it for real this time. Let's jump right into it. If you see me looking down, I am looking at my iPad mini. This is my homegirl. Where I go, she go. Where she go, I go. Let's get into my stats. So I read a total of 14 books this month. That was 3,283 pages. Majority of them were less than 300 pages. And one was 500 plus pages. Was it? Oh yes, I remember which one that is. All fiction this month. My top genre was romance, per usual. I really need to do something about that. But romance, fantasy, erotica, I'm just gonna say queer, and contemporary. I didn't do bad. Majority of my reads were digital. I had 8 digital books that I read. Then there were 2 audiobooks, and the rest were print. There were 4 print books. So I feel like I did pretty good. I need to do better, but I'm reading, right? It's been a rough year for me. The fact that I'm reading is better than nothing at all, so I will take it. First, let's get into the 2 audiobooks I read. So for the first one, I read Bones at the Crossroads by Ladarian Williams. This was a phenomenal audiobook. I listened to the first in the series last year, Blood at the Root, excuse me. That is also the name of the series, and I absolutely loved it. It's telling the story of a young boy who is going to a magical HBCU. In the first book, we meet Malik. We meet his family. We learn all of this family trauma that he has, why he has it, and how magic is playing a part in this. He learns that he is more powerful than he thought he was, and that he is connected in all of these ways. We also find out that his mom is evil. So in this second book, we are getting a follow-up to that. It jumps right into things. The narrator for this book, phenomenal. I believe he also narrated the soundtrack by Jason Reynolds earlier this year. The young man is extremely talented, and I cannot wait to see where he goes. He has been added to my list of automatic listens. If he is narrating it, he does a chef's kiss. Auntie is a fan of the baby. In this second book, he is trying to figure it out. Okay, he is trying to figure out who he can trust. He is trying to figure out who he can't trust. There is a little bit of a love interest. He is a flawed young Black boy, and I think that is very important. I also love the representation of teens as queer, because that is a thing. And as much as it makes people uncomfortable, I think it's important that we do have that representation, that they have that representation. What I will say, because a lot of you like to read YA and then turn around and say it was childish. Baby, you haven't been a YA since Jesus was a boy. You are not the target audience. Go into this to have fun, not to be some literary critic that you ain't really. Get it, got it good, okay? Because y'all be getting on my nerves doing all of this. Oh, it was this, it was that, it was this, it was that. You are not the target audience, and you haven't been in a month of Sundays. Grow up, okay? And we probably could say that same thing about a lot of books that y'all hate. Are you the target audience? Probably not. The next audiobook that I listened to, I finally read You Made a Fool of Death with Your Beauty by Akwaeke Emezi. You guys know that I am a huge Akwaeke Emezi fan. There isn't much that I have read by them that I did not thoroughly enjoy. Okay. This tells the story of a female main character who is getting her bearings in dating again. She lost her husband in a tragic car accident, and she is trying to figure it out. This leads her to going on a vacation with someone that definitely likes her more than she likes him, and she ends up falling for his dad. It is very messy. Very, very messy. It is an age gap romance. There is a lot of family drama, but I think there is this underlying conversation about how your past traumas really have a hold on you. Like, if you are not taking the time to heal certain things, they are going to control how you show up, not only in your personal life, but in your romantic lives, in your platonic life. Like, it is going to control you until you do the things that you need to do to heal the things. It's definitely one of those books that I feel like if you are in a reading slump and you just want to read something at the surface level, you totally can with this book. If you want to read it deeply, you totally can read it deeply if you want to. It's just one of those books. Okay? It's one of those books. It was phenomenal. Next, we're going to get into my physical reads. So I had 4 physical reads in no particular order. I received an arc from Simon & Schuster for Boomtown by Nick Stone. Nick Stone is known for writing young adult middle grade books. This is my first time reading any books by her, and this was absolutely phenomenal. I got books falling. This was absolutely phenomenal. I just go pre-order it now. Just go pre-order it right now. So this tells the story of Lyric, who is the manager at a strip club called Boomtown. She has gone through some stuff the last few years, and she is coming back to work, not to dance anymore, but to manage the girls. And she realizes that someone that she used to dance with, that she was really close with, is missing. Now, she doesn't do any research on why said person is missing, because she feels like the way that their relationship ended, it just wasn't, it's not her place to look anymore. But then in walks this young girl that looks eerily like her friend that went missing. So she hires this girl that should not be dancing in a strip club. Mama is a dancer, but like a classically trained dancer, and she should not be down to the strip club. But because Lyric is missing her friend, she hires this girl who then in turn also goes missing. Lyric spends the entire book trying to piece the things together, because she is absolutely sure that the 2 girls have gone missing for the same reason, or the same person is responsible for them going missing. It is phenomenal. I will say, you can tell that Nick Stone is accustomed to writing YA young adult books with how some of the details are laid out and how some of the details are placed. There is overwriting in some places, but I can see the vision for her progression over time. So I feel like a lot of y'all are going to get this book and y'all are going to try to be very harsh on her because, oh, it's her first adult fiction and you can tell she writes YA and whatever. This is a book that you're just supposed to have fun reading. You're just supposed to have fun reading. I don't feel like you should have to, or a book should have to be this literary phenomenon in order for it to be good. It can just be good because it's fun. That's it, and that's all. It can just be good because it's fun, and this book was a damn good time. It's fast-paced. There's always something going on. It was a time. Pre-order it now. Right now. Pause the video and go pre-order it right now. Next next up, we have Harmattan Season. This is by Tochi Onyebuchi. I am gonna have to read this book again because I don't know what the hell I read. I listened to and read this, so immersive reading, and I enjoyed immersively reading this book. So it tells the story of Booba. Booba is a detective, for lack of better words, and he gets a knock on his door one day, like in the middle of the night, and it is a woman who is bleeding and asking for help. And there is a magic system in this world, and he's looking around his studio apartment like, girl, how am I supposed to help you? Cause ain't nowhere for you to hide, baby, in this closet I call at home. He turns around and she's gone, but then the police are at his door, and it goes down this like rabbit hole of all these things that are happening. The part that I didn't really 100% understand was the deeper meaning of the book. There is this tie to colonialism, colonization, that is affecting not only the people of color in this book, but also the mixed race people. So like, I want to read this again eventually and really take my time reading it so that I can really give it a chance. I enjoyed it. It's funny in places. I like Booba's character. I like that it's not like super fantasy where like we just kind of get glimpses of the magic, like it's here and there, but it's not like the entire story. Kind of similar to Kindred by Octavia Butler, where like the time travel in that book is happenstance. Does that make sense? It's kind of the same here, but I need to go back and read this again so that I fully can understand what all is going on. Another book that I really enjoyed, it is The Ghost of Gwendolyn Montgomery by Clarence A. Haynes. I had a time. If you are looking for something that is genre bending, then you should absolutely read this book. This tells the story of Gwendolyn Montgomery, who is, for lack of better words, a witch, and she kind of still practices like a little bit here and there, and like she has an altar in her closet, but she's not as devout as she used to be. She works for a PR firm. She has this event. Something very weird happens at this event at the Brooklyn Museum that she feels like is a personal kind of like spiritual attack. She doesn't know what's happening. Alongside her, we get the perspective of who we find out eventually is someone from her past who also is a witch, and he runs a local botanica, and he has a relationship with a ghost on the other side. They may or may not be hunching, and he is trying to figure out what are all these spiritual things that are happening too. They end up coming together. It's another conversation about how the things from your past will show up if you don't do the things to heal them. I loved the representation of voodoo and hoodoo and the orishas that are in this. I loved the representation of Black people using magic, and not necessarily in a way that's demonizing them, but just in a way that is happenstance. It's funny in places. It's sexy. It is dark and mysterious, but light at the same time. I feel like this is a book for people that maybe want to get into horror, right? But you like literary fiction, or you want to get into horror and you're kind of interested in magic, or you have some sort of magical practice, so you don't want something super heavy. This is it. Like, this is the book for the people that are kind of like in and out. You get what I'm saying? Like, you don't want nothing that's gonna like have you sleeping in the bed with a flashlight on at the nighttime. You don't want that, but you do want creepy. This is the book for you. This was awesome. And if you get a chance to see Clarence speaking anywhere anytime soon, please go. He is so kind. Like, he is awesome. I need to get him on the podcast with me and Jess so we can chat and just like kiki. Like, I feel like he's gonna end up being one of those authors that maybe I have like a long-term friendship with. Like, he's really, really cool. Speaking of horror, speaking of something that was high up on my list for anticipated reads, we have Blood Slaves by Marcus Redmond. This book, I have very high expectations for this. Very high expectations. I have been looking for Black vampires for a very long time, and everything has kind of fallen short for me. And then we got Sinners this year, and Sinners was absolutely phenomenal. And I saw the author comparing his book to Sinners, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I feel like comparing this book to Sinners is the utmost disrespect to Ryan Coogler as a person, a business, an entity. Don't say that shit no more. I'm sorry. Okay, the reason this book bothered me so much is because of the reader's note. In this reader's note, Marcus Redmond talks about how he didn't intend to write this book at first. That he always wanted to write something about vampires, but he did not intend to write, I guess, about slavery. And he goes on to talk about the murder of George Floyd in 2020 and the protest that ensued after. And he was outraged by the outrage of the murder and the desecration of Black bodies. He said that this is not a abnormal occurrence. This has been happening for centuries, so why is everybody hooting and hollering, for lack of better words? He also went on to say that he felt like the protests were because people were tired of being stuck in the house and wearing masks because of the pandemic. Because we only get further into this, then he goes on to say that George Floyd's murder made him want to become a vampire. Huh? Now, multiple things can be true at once. I don't want to negate anybody's feelings, but I also want us to be able to hold each other accountable with the things that we say and how they could be portrayed. Because this author says those things, right, and is expecting us to accept his want to become a vampire to incite his own protest in some form of revenge, right, if he were able to do that. And he goes on to write this book where he, in great detail, uses the abuse and the torture of Black bodies to have his characters go on to protest. It doesn't make any sense to me. It doesn't make any sense to me. I don't think this was I don't think the reader's note was well thought out. I think without the reader's note, I still would have had my issues with this book, right? Because there is the portrayal of Black women that I just don't necessarily agree with in this book. There is, as someone who reads a lot of historical fiction, I don't believe in such thing as trauma porn. I'm not affected in the way that others may be by the details in the abuse and the torment of slaves. But I do feel like there is a way to do it gracefully and with intent and purpose that was not done in this book. There's rape on the page. There is very detailed scenes of torture. And then once they are turned to vampires, what they leash out on the white people, on the people that have been doing these things to them, isn't half as gruesome as what the Black people went through. And we could say that that is a mimic of today's times, right? That there is a decorum to Black people in all things, but I think there is some deep-rooted stuff here that this author probably needs to work through in therapy and not via a book. because there is a stark difference between what Ryan Coogler did with Sinners and the care and the thought that went into it versus what I went through with this. I will say the vampire parts are very cool. The Romangan tribe, that whole bit is very cool. There are just, I don't know, the thing that he was outraged about is the plot of his story, and that just doesn't make sense. He was so disgraced by it, and then he made it a book. It just doesn't, like, there isn't I want it to make sense. Like, I want to actually have a conversation with the author because I actually want to understand a little bit better. But I don't know that person, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. But this wasn't what I thought it was going to be. I am not saying any of this because I don't want y'all to read it. I actually do want people to read it because I want to have the larger conversation. I think y'all should read it. I think I could leave space to learn more about the horror genre, right? Like, maybe the things that are making me uncomfortable about this book are actually distinct parts of horror, and it's just flying over my head because I don't read super dark horror all the time. So don't walk away from this saying, oh, well, Shelby said, so I ain't fixing to read it, blah, blah. Don't do that. Don't do that at all. I think that y'all should read this. I think it also, because I've seen a lot of people rate this 5 stars, and I'm trying to find it. I think there is a common denominator amongst the people that rated this 5 stars, and it's that they don't read very diversely. So I don't know who to trust, right? Not that I really take reviews and things like that with more than a grain of salt anyway, but I want to have a larger conversation about this. Be mindful of the trigger warnings. There are some in the front of the book. If you don't actually want to pay for a copy and you have Kindle Unlimited, it is available on Kindle Unlimited. So there's that. That book is going to stick with me for a long time because I just don't know. I just don't know. All right. Now for all of the ebooks that I read. I've read 8 of them. We are going to start from the bottom. Surrender to Me by D. Tasha Marie. I don't know if I've read anything by this author before. I don't know if this was my first book, but I absolutely loved it. It tells the story of a girl who is an entrepreneur, and she wants to go to this weekend retreat where she may meet investors for her beauty business. She goes, she kind of fails, she goes to the bar feeling a little defeated, and here comes this very fine older man who is very attractive, and he's asking her, like, what's wrong? Oh, you here for the retreat, blah 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 blah. He propositions her, I can give you the money that you need for your business if you spend the weekend with me. And if you are going to spend the weekend with me, you cannot ask any questions. You have to listen to everything that I say as soon as you walk through my door. And she was like, I am not a prostitute. And he said, I never called you one. And baby, she got in her room and legend turned her every way but loose. There is a scene. My mama is probably watching this. Ma, close your ears. Your ears closed. There is a scene where he ties her to the bed and all he uses is toys. He didn't even touch her yet. Next, I discovered Monet Paris. Okay. And I read The Weekend Omnibus. The Weekend Omnibus tells the story of a stripper who meets this dude at the strip club. She dances for him. They end up going back to her house. They have a one-night stand. They are falling for each other very quickly. She discovers that old boy is married. Now, because you know I like my man crazy only on the page. I only like gangsters and drug dealers. On the page, he is in that lifestyle, and he is married contractually. The wife gets in the way of things. Miss Mama was like, I don't want nothing to do with you. I did not sign up to be a side chick. Blah, blah, blah. He may or may not have killed his wife for fucking with her, because there is a secret baby. Then he ends up going to jail because before he killed the wife told all his business and blah, 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 and then he tried to get his family back. It's a very quick read. It's fun. It's spicy in places. It's not like kink forward spicy. It's regular Tuesday weekday sex, but it's very intense. Monet Paris writes the intensity very, very good. The next book that I read by her is called Freaked Out. This is single. Mama is in Miami with her friends. She just got out of a relationship, heartbroken. 2 guys. It's a wide choose. They turn her every way but loose in that penthouse. Sign me up. And then I read by Monet Paris because I went through her whole little catalog, okay? I fucked somebody's wife, and it is exactly what the title say. Mama is unhinged. Monet Paris is unhinged, and I like that for me, her, and us as a family unit. This one, he sees a woman out. They have a one-night stand. He discovers that she's married. He, crazy as hell, was like, oh, you thought you was gonna give me that good ass stuff that you got in your purse and just disappear because you got a husband, you mine now. So he may or may not kidnapped her husband and tie him up and then made him watch them have sex. Just read it. It's a good time. Then I read Biggie by Ashanti Keys. This is my first time reading anything by her. I really enjoyed this novella. It is about a girl named Tuesday who has a taco truck. And it's one night after the club. Everybody is coming to her taco truck. This very fine big man who is definitely a drug dealer. He got money, okay? He comes and he like, oh, I like you. I want to spend time with you. And she like, oh, I'm working. He was like, put everything on my card for the night and come over here and eat some tacos with me. And he waited until she finished for the night, and they had a one night stand. He up and disappears. She ends up pregnant. 2 years later, he shows up at the taco truck. Now, mind you, he is trying to, he is a part of, he's a drug dealer. He lives a certain lifestyle. He's supposed to be laying low. So this is why he comes back to this particular town. And she is not expecting to see him because she like, I ain't get this man name. I did not, I like nothing, no phone number, nothing. Okay. It was a traditional one night stand. And honestly, sometimes you got to be an adult and have a one night stand. Anyway, he shows up 2 years later at the taco truck, and he like, hey, yo, like, I'm trying to see what that thing's still hitting for, what it's hitting for, whatever. And she like, yo, we have a 2-year-old that looks exactly like you, my guy. What are we going to do about this? And he trying to deny it or whatever the case may be. But it brings up this larger conversation of like, although we had a one night stand, although you live a certain lifestyle, my son deserves better. Our son deserves better. So what are we going to do now? It was very cute. Then I've told y'all about Drea Anderson before. I read The Hamilton Brothers. So I'm just going to talk about both of these at the same time. So the first one is The Friend Contract. Gabe Hamilton is in love with his best friend, Naomi. And Naomi, he's a shapeshifter, and she is a part of the Panther clan, but she is I think the word is latent, where she doesn't shift like everyone does, but she does have her powers, and she is the Zeta of her clan, where she gives emotional support to the other Panthers and helps them navigate things emotionally. And for a long time, she has kind of just said like, oh, I'm not going to mate with a shifter because I don't think that I can. And she had a failed attempt previously, and she's just really emotional about it. So he tricks her into marrying him. He says, hey, my parents are trying to put me in this like betrothal, and the only way that I'll get out of it is if I tell them that I found my mate, and why shouldn't that be you? Now he already knows that she is truly his mate. He is just trying to trick her. It is, well, not trick her, but like trying to get her to see that she is. It's spicy. I love the whole mating thing. I love the full moon. I gotta bite you to mark you up to make sure you're mine, and the connection and all that. I love all that. So it was a very good time. The second book is his twin, Brent. Brent is next in line to be the alpha of their bear clan. And he is like fighting with his bear very badly, and he can only step up if he has a mate, and he hasn't done that yet. And his mama is stressing him out, his family is stressing him out about it, blah blah blah. His father is ready to step down, and then he comes back from a work trip. The family has a law firm. He walks in and he sees his mate, but she happens to be a witch, and that is kind of frowned upon. So there is this whole thing. Again, it's like another forbidden romance type situation, because they are both trying to figure out what they're gonna do about her being a witch and that whole bit. But it was very cute. Brent is the very opposite of Gabe. Gabe is a grumpy old big old bear, and Brent is a little bit softer, but he can handle business if he need to handle business. So I very much enjoyed that. I don't think I ever considered bear shifters, and now I want to read more about bear shifters. And then last but certainly not least, we have Don Casselli. This is the Casselli family book 2 by Jaquel J. Don is the brother of Menace from 10,000 Hours with a Rich Menace, and Don is trying to figure out his life. He's trying to figure out romance. There's someone that he has his eyes on, but things are not necessarily flowing between them the way that he would like for them to. And then he meets Navy. And Navy is a content creator. She is very family oriented, something that Don doesn't necessarily have experience with because of the way things kind of worked out with his parents, and the way that Menace tried to raise his siblings and tried to help out with his siblings. And it's a instant love type thing. Like, Don knows almost immediately, but they both have other like past relationship trauma that is affecting how they are trying to come together. It was so cute. I think for the way that Jaquel J writes, this was spicy for her, but not spicy if you've read Masterpiece, ML Bash, Casey Mills. Like, if you've read any of the girls that I've recommended before, A Blossom, any stuff like that, it's not going to be spicy to you. But it's spicy compared to the other books that Jaquel J has written. So there's that. But I absolutely enjoyed it. At this point, I'll read just about anything that Jaquel J writes. I'm ready for the next siblings book. I'm ready for Goon's book, and I'm ready for the third Casselli family book. So that is everything that I read for the month of July. 2 books that I didn't get to finish before the end of the month. Excuse me, Washington Black by S.E. Edugen. I was trying to read this in time for the Hulu adaptation, and I'm not gonna hold you long. All I'm gonna say is I feel like Hulu should not adapt anything else, because when I catch them, I'm gonna flip the building on its side. That's all I'm gonna say. I am gonna finish this. I like paused my reading, tried to watch the first episode. It pissed me off real bad, so I needed to step away for a little bit, but I will be finishing this. By the time y'all see this video, I'll be finished with this. And then I started No Sense in Wishing by Lawrence Burney. This is a collection of essays. Lawrence Burney is a culture critic, talking a lot about music. I'm thoroughly enjoying this. The first essay that I read, he talked about like his connection between music and how he kind of connected it back to his childhood and his mom and just the different generations. And I know this is going to be absolutely great. By the way, this is a picture of him. I saw him at the Center for Fiction, and he said this is a picture his uncle took of him, which I thought was really cool. So yeah, that's it. If you have made it this far into the video, let me know what your favorite read for the month of July was. Are you gonna read any of these books? Have you read any of these books? And leave a stack of books emoji. If no one told you today, I love you, you are kind, you are smart, you are important. If to no one, to me. Bye, friends.